All right. So we have an extensive chapter this time around. This might be a 2 or 3 video lecture, but it's about human motivation or motivation in general and emotions. It encompasses a lot of different things. Motivation does, and emotional and labeling emotions and so forth. So let's start. What are our learning outcomes today? Well, we're going to explain the different types of approaches to motivation, what motivates behavior, what motivates you to do something or not to do something. And then we're going to explain the drive reduction theory, and then arousal theory, and incentive theory, and then cognitive approaches. And then we'll talk about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then we're going to try to apply the different approaches to everyday life. Okay, so what is motivations? Well, motivation is something that energizes us to do something. Any organism that has a reason to do anything has to be motivated to do it. There's also motivations not to do things. Like doing your homework. You'd rather go do something else. You're motivated to do something else besides the thing you don't want to do. You're not motivated. Okay. Instincts are things that are inborn. Human beings do have some instincts when we are born. As time goes by, some of those instincts kind of disappear. But even today, we have instincts that drive us, that motivate us to do certain behaviors, behave a certain way, and even feel certain ways. Okay, so drive reduction approach to motivation basically says this. We have a need. So for this example, we have a need for water because we are required to have water in order to continue surviving. So having this need produces a drive to give water, and then we have this need to reduce that drive because a drive like this causes anxiety, stress, tension, and arousal that needs to be lowered because this is not something that we're comfortable with. So we have a drive, and it motivates us to go get water. And so we go get water to reduce this drive. So we go back to what's called homeostasis. Homeostasis is the body's tendency to be at a steady internal state where it feels most comfortable at. It's kind of like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, not too hot, not too cold, but just right. Well, the same thing happens in your body when it comes to hormones and weight even, and other things. So if we have a drive, we want to reduce that drive to get down to homeostasis. Okay. Primary drives are things like food, water, and sex, and then secondary drives again are like things you have to learn to appreciate, to want. Some people have drive to make money. Well, that's the secondary drive. We want to go do things. All right. Again, this is more of the homeostasis approach where we like to maintain a certain level of arousal in our body. We try not to be too aroused or too under aroused. And so if we're too under aroused, we might do something that increases our arousal. Or if we're too aroused, we might want to do something that reduces the arousal. Again, we feel most comfortable being at a what's called homeostasis, where we feel most comfortable at. Incentive approach, again, some of you are here and taking this course because you have a incentive approach to motivation. You want your degree. You want to earn whatever you want to earn. And this classroom is just part of that process. And so you have this incentive to want to do well in this class in order to reach your ultimate goal, whatever that may be. And this is just one step in the process. So you have a desire to want to get things done, to get this class done, get your other classes done, so you get that little piece of paper that says you can now be a nurse, you can now be a mechanic, or anything else that you want to achieve. So we have the cognitive approaches to motivation, and this is basically an idea that we are motivated in two main ways. One is intrinsic, and another one is extrinsic. Intrinsic is mainly doing something just because you like doing it. It makes you feel good. I like to talk about football players. You could some college football players, they're the best, and then they go to NFL, and then they are not very good anymore. So what happened? Well, their motivation might have changed. When they were in college, they may have been motivated because they just love playing football. They just enjoy it. It provides internal gratification to play football. And then when they get to the NFL, they're no longer doing it just for the reward, for the gratification. They're doing it for money. And money is the extrinsic motivation. Okay, the reason, other than you're just doing it for someone or for yourself, you're doing it for something else or someone else. Kids who are stuck in sports, not because they want to be in sports, but because their parents demand that they be in sports because their parents are living through their kids. That is an extrinsic motivation. And these kiddos normally only could reach their potential so much. Whereas intrinsic motivation, they just love it. And anything that you love doing, you're just going to get better at it. And so over time, we hope that, I'm a big Chiefs fan, so my favorite quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. He's still playing like he's played it all the time. And so you can kind of guess that maybe he's doing it still for intrinsic feeling or motivation and not really for the money and the fame. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow, he was a humanist, and he believed that human beings have these needs that need to be fulfilled, starting from level 1, working their way up to, self-actualization. He says before you can really do anything else, you need physiological needs, you need a place to be warm, you need a place to sleep, you need water, you need food, okay? Once you have those needs done, then you could go up to level 2, safety needs, living in a secure environment, living at home, having, feeling safe when you go home, being able to be yourself when you go home, take off your shoes, just being yourself. After that is done, then you can move on to what's called level 3, having friends, starting a family, going into clubs and organizations with people just like yourself, being able to communicate, have affections towards other people. Okay, so that's level 3. Again, in order to move up the levels, you have to make sure the lower level below that one is satisfied before you can move up to the next one. All right, and then level 4 is esteem needs, giving yourself self-worth, being able to, get a career, get a job, having, feeling good about your self-worth, your self-esteem, that you are contributing to the world, you're helping your community, you're making this world better. And then level 5, which is the ultimate state that you all want to be at, is called self-actualization, in which you have reached your fullest potential in life. You have reached the pinnacle of what you can possibly be. The pinnacle of me, Mr. Label. What would that look like? I don't know. I don't think I'm self-actualized yet, but who really knows what that is for me? But once it happens, I would know that it would happen. And here is a triangle that pretty much describes Maslow's hierarchy of needs, with physiological on the bottom, and self-actualization on top. Right, and then you have everything in between. applying to them. They all seem to work. They all seem to make sense. Some are more scientific. Abraham's hierarchy of needs is not so scientific, but it seems to make sense. All right, it seems that in order to go from being happy, you got to first be able to eat some food and feel safe and be have relationships. Okay. So you kind of got to put an eclectic approach to this and apply all these together to really understand what motivates people to do certain things in life. All right, human needs. Again, we're going to talk about biological and social factors, hunger, what makes us feel hungry, why are we, what makes us hungry, and then types of sexual behavior. Sex, people are motivated to have sex and want sex, but then we also have to talk about the different types of homosexuality and bisexuality, heterosexuality, and where those thoughts come from, where those needs come from, and we'll learn that it's something that's that it's not learned. It's just something. It's just who they are as people, and achievement needs. All right. Okay, a couple of things before I might have to stop this video. Obesity is a BMI over 30. It is this using a BMI is not exactly the best way to measure obesity. You could have a BMI over 30 and be completely fit, and so a BMI is not the best way, but it is one of the ways that you can measure obesity. It's basically being 30 pounds overweight or more. But you want to be under a BMI of 24 if you're not packed full of muscle. But sometimes it's hard for some of us to lose weight in comparison to others. The reason for that is that our body, again, coming back to that homeostasis, feels most comfortable at certain body weights. Okay, when losing weight, you get to a point where it gets tougher to lose weight. All right, you lost like 20 pounds, now it's getting tough to lose weight. Well, your body's resisting that because it feels most comfortable to the weight that you were before. And so your body is actually fighting against you in trying to lose weight. All right. Again, homeostasis. Hypothalamus is very involved. Hypothalamus is the want center of the brain, the reward center of the brain. Hypothalamus is responsible for eating, drinking, and sex drive. And so, again, your hypothalamus is doing its job. But the key idea is you got this marvelous prefrontal cortex, this frontal lobe, where you can logically reason and change your behaviors, overriding the hypothalamus that's inside your brain. So actually, it's a battle between two different areas of the brain when you go on a diet and stick to a diet. It's your hypothalamus against your frontal lobe. And so the idea is we want our human frontal lobe to overwhelm or overcome the more animalistic hypothalamus. All right, I got about 1 minute left. And a couple more things here. Metabolism is how fast or how quickly or how slowly your body uses the energy that you have consumed. When we're young, it goes by really fast. You can almost eat anything and not get any weight. But as we get old, your thyroid actually gets better at its job. And so it realizes you don't need as much calories in order to survive. And so whatever it thinks you don't need, it stores as fat. And that's why you get a little overweight as you get older. And then we have social cultural factors. Americans love burgers, fries, fried chicken, all those good things that aren't exactly healthy for you and are cheaper in comparison to fresh vegetables and so forth. Alright, I'm going to push pause on this and start here again.